All right, I'm gonna give you a tour of the light switches. So this is by the door downstairs. We have 3 switches. The first one here, that's down in the vestibule. This middle one and goes to the chandelier. Now, you don't just press this. You have a master switch down here. You first switch that, and then it comes on. And that's the same for a lot of these switches. You change the dimmer with this, but if you want to, the master has to be on. And there's this little slider at the bottom that turns the master on and off. And that's true for a lot of them. This third one is the sconces, and that's a 3-way switch with multiple locations. Let's go to this one. This is the other switch for the sconces, the other 3-way. This is simply a master power. This was from an older system. So this power on, this powers on the fan as well as the skylight. They are individually controlled from this remote and this remote, the skylight and the fan. That switch down there is just a master power switch. This one also has one of these master kind of sliders at the bottom that you have to push over to turn on. This switch works as well. And actually, this one is a 3-way also. It actually has to be on both sides for it to work. So let's actually do that. The other side to it is right over here. And you can see these two. This has to be on. There it goes. And it's those lights right up there. So those lights can be controlled from either spot, but both of these, for whatever reason, they've always been like this. These little master switches have to be on. This right here gives you the lighting above the built-ins, right up there. And finally, this switch on the end, it's hard to see during the day, but there are lights above the beams, and they're just accent lights. But right above the beams in the corner, you can really only see it at night. That is this final switch here. Now, this switch here, same thing. We have to move this to the side, and these guys come on. These halogens right here. So this controls the lights right next to it, and I'll switch it off, and they're good. Next, the kitchen. Again, same thing. We have that switch down here. This is really just for the dimmer, and this dims, and this dims. But we switch that off. That's the kitchen lights. I switch it back on, and there they go. Everything's all set. This is a dead switch. It's not connected to anything, but nothing's broken. It may connect to an outlet somewhere. We've never had a use for it ever since we've lived here. So this is just a mystery switch, but it's not connected to anything. There are no lights that are not controllable with the existing switches. So this really doesn't matter. It's just a placeholder switch. Over here by the laundry room, this should be perfectly fine. Laundry room lights come on and off, and they're fine. And I think that's all the switches. So I think the main thing is to just look out for the switches that have these little sliders on the bottom. And I think then you'll find that everything works just fine the way it is. Let me know if you have any questions.